Okay, what's up guys? Sorry about that. My computer froze right as I went live, but we should be good to go now. Let me know if you guys can hear me, if you can see everything, and then we can start working on Minesweeper again. Hello Jan, how's it going? Thanks for coming back. Got a lot of work to do on this game. Okay. I think we should definitely just go over what we did last week before we even get into adding stuff. I think our first step after we review should be to make it so we can actually click on each box, because right now we don't have any actual user interactivity going on. Okay, so right now we have our function cell, and then we made this 2D array and we printed it all out on our screen with this for loop. And that was everything we did last lesson. So we have this function cell right here, and we can pass an x position, a y position, and a width, which we defined right here. And then we created this function in our cell object that allows us to display something, and what we're displaying is a rectangle with a stroke of 0 and no fill, with a x and a y position that we pass here, what we call our cell, and our width, which we also pass right here. Then we created this function make 2D array, and this creates, when we call it, well, we call it and we pass the amount of columns and the amount of rows, and then it creates an array based off of those parameters, a two-dimensional array. So we create new array, columns, and then we have for loop that creates a row for every single column. So it iterates through the length of our array for columns and creates another array for each index that represents our rows, and then we return that array to the function call, and then we actually call the function down here in function setup. So we created a canvas 200 by 200, and then we define columns to be our width, which is 200, divided by w, which is 20, it's 10, and then we created rows, which equals the same thing because we did height, and our height is 200. And then we have our variable grid, which we define down here, and then set it equal to making a two-dimensional array where we pass 10, 10 to this function here. So it gives us a 10 by 10 two-dimensional array. And then right here in this for loop, we're creating a new cell at every position of our array. So we go through each row and each column, assigning a cell object to that index of the array. So our array grid is full of cell objects with different x and y positions, but the same width and height. And then in our function draw, all we were doing is displaying it or showing it by using that function that we created up here for our cell show. We're just representing it on our grid with rectangles, and that is everything we did. So before we get started, just want to make sure that everyone's code is working properly. So does everyone have this code? And is it working? Are there any bugs? And also, does anyone have any questions before we move on? If you don't have any questions or no bugs, then just say ready, and then we can start our next function for our cell. Dion's ready? Do we just have Yon here today? Okay, well, in that case, let's start. So, our cell right now is just being represented with a rectangle, which we have right here, our rectangles, but its other functionality should be, it should either be a clear square, like a gray square or something that's a different color than this white that we have here to show that it's been clicked on, or a number, or a mine. Those are our three options. It can either be a gray square, well, I'm going to use gray, a gray square, a number, or a mine. So we're just going to start by actually revealing what's up. Nothing's going to be revealed yet because we haven't actually made any mines or numbers, but we want to actually be able to click on it first. So let's create a new variable in our cell that's going to say this dot revealed, and revealed is just going to represent whether our square has been clicked on or not. So to start, it's not going to be clicked on, so we're going to set it equal to false. So we'll say this dot revealed equals false. Cool. And then let's also make a mine. So we'll say this dot mine equals. Actually, let's not do that. We'll just stick with this dot revealed equals false, and then we're going to need to make a function for our cell object that returns whether it's revealed or not. So we'll just say well, it's going to be a function that changes whether revealed is true or false. So we'll say cell, just like we did for show, cell.prototype, and let's write this under show. So cell, capital cell, dot prototype dot reveal, we'll call it, equals a function. So we're just copying same syntax as this. Cell.prototype.reveal equals function. And then all this is going to do is just set our revealed equal to true. So all we did right here was write cell.prototype.reveal. So we're saying set reveal. This method is a part of our cell function right here. Or it's a prototype of cell. And it's a function, and then when we call it, so if we were to call reveal on our grid, on a square in our grid, then it would set revealed equal to true, so it would no longer be false. And basically that's going to be how we represent whether our square has been clicked on or not, because we don't want to be able to click on a square more than once. Okay, and then let's make it so we can actually click now. And we'll do this under our variables right here. We're just going to make a function for mouse pressed, because that's all our game will ever use, just clicking. If mouse is pressed, so function mouse pressed, so when the mouse is pressed, then we want to go through our whole entire grid array. So we'll say var I equals 0, I is less than columns, I plus plus, and we could just copy paste down below, but I'm just typing it so we can really grasp the concept of for loops iterating through two-dimensional arrays. So I have for var j equals 0, j is less than rows, and j plus plus, open up curly brackets again, and then we'll do an if statement and say if we'll just say for now grid I j dot reveal, but later on we're gonna want to put we're gonna want to check whether that position contains a number or a mine. So I'm just going to put a note here that we're going to put an if statement here. Yeah, no, we have done a little bit. We just did some review, and then we added this right here. So this dot revealed equals false, and then I said sail.prototype.reveal equals function. This dot revealed equals true, and then I made this function mouse pressed. That's all we've done so far. But yeah, if you want to get a more in-depth explanation of those, then definitely rewind. Okay, so now let's make okay, let's see, what should we do next? Sorry, I'm just updating myself on my code. So we're gonna want to make another function, which is where we're going, which is what I was just talking about with this if statement here, to check whether mine is contained. Okay, so this is going to be a prototype of cell again. So we're going to say cell dot prototype dot contain equals function. So again, just like this stuff here, but this time we're going to want to pass an x and a y, because we want to check. We're going to be checking our mouse's x and y position. So if I click here, it should only be revealing this square. If I click here, it should only be opening this square. You have a syntax error, unexpected token on line 19. Well, my line 19 is probably different than yours, but that's most likely a curly bracket issue. These for loops here can usually cause some issues, so make sure that you have an opening for the top for, an opening for the second for, and then two closing, and then a closing for the function mouse pressed. But yeah, that's most likely a curly bracket issue. Unexpected. And you can also submit your code, Jan, if you want me to look at it. Does it look just like this? I'll open up the code submission website if you want to submit your code. I'm just opening up the submission page for code. Oh, awesome. Okay. So then let's move on. Do you have this contains function yet? Are you all caught up, Jan? Okay, cool. So then now we want to, all we're gonna do is return, and this is gonna be really long. I'm actually gonna zoom out. This is gonna, yeah, this will be a pretty long return statement, but I'm just gonna type it out and then we'll explain it. So x is greater than this dot x, and this dot x we're referring to the cells x. So this dot x and x is less than this dot x plus this dot w, and y is greater than this dot y. And I'm actually going to copy and paste this into the chat because this is pretty long and we don't want to get any bugs on this. And y is less than this dot y plus this dot w. And then we want to just add that semicolon right there. And like I said, I'm gonna, oh no, I got into the actually, does anyone know how to get out of I accidentally went into the mode where if it types over like that. So if I have hello, if I do spaces here, then it just deletes it. I accidentally hit something to get me in that mode. I'm not sure how to get out of it. Click insert or numlock. Oh. Sweet, awesome, thank you so much. Thank you, Nod. Super helpful. Okay, so yeah, I'll copy paste this return statement into the chat, and then let's just go over it, what it's doing, and what the point of this function is. So, all this function is doing is checking whether our mouse is within the boundaries of a cell. So that's why we do x, and x, we're actually going to pass our mouse x, so the x coordinate of our mouse, and we're going to pass the y coordinate of our mouse, and then we're just going to check if mouse x is greater than this dot x and x is less than this dot x plus this dot w. If you guys have ever coded buttons before, which I'm sure you have, I would hope so, if you're taking this class, then it's exactly like that. That's all we did, was we just defined our cell like we would a button. Just define the parameters of the cell. Okay. And then, so now where we put that comment before this if statement, we're going to say if our grid, so if our cell, we're just checking each cell, dot contains mouse x comma mouse y. So if it contains our mouse and the mouse is pressed, obviously because we are in that function mouse pressed, then that means we want to reveal our grid. We want to reveal the cell. So we want to reveal whatever is under that cell, whether it's a gray square, a mine, or a number. It's all good. We haven't gotten that far yet. We just did some review of what we did last time, and then we created this variable revealed, a function that just switches real to true, and then a function that checks whether our mouse is within a cell, and then we're making this function mouse press right now, which is just going to reveal each cell. You have an error, invalid or unexpected token on line 28. But it's the one you copy pasted from the chat. Does it copy paste correctly as one line? It must, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you could also show your code. And Jan also had the unexpected token error, and it was because you misspelled function. So make sure that everything's spelled correctly. Okay, yeah, let's get that fixed and then we'll move on. So I think the next step for us should be let's go into our cell right here, our show function. So we're in show, and then let's just say if range error invalid array length on line 2. I think you're definitely gonna want to definitely submit your code. Okay, I'm not gonna move on yet. Let's get all these bugs sorted out. But so I don't lose my train of thought, we're gonna do if revealed. Okay, yeah, so submit your code, Jan. And I see that you just did as well too, Noah. Okay, we have yours right here, Noah. line 28. Cell is there a weird symbol somewhere? That's odd. It says missing semicolon. Let's see if we still get the error if we comment it out. Okay, we do still get the error on line 40. I'm thinking we might have a curly bracket issue. Cannot read property contains. Prototype. I'm just gonna so this should be in mouse pressed, this if statement, because this is right here is just setting up our grid. We don't want that to be conditional. So right here we want to say in function mouse pressed, we put that if statement and then we reveal it. Okay, there we go, that fixed it for us. And now let's try to get this returned back in. Oh, and now there's an error here. Huh. But we fixed the other problem. Invalid or this dot x, this dot, and okay, x is greater than this dot x, and x is less than this dot x plus this dot w, and y is greater than this dot y, and y is less than this dot y plus this dot w. Are you using? Yes, you are using all the same variables. That is odd. Okay, if it contains mouse x, comma mouse y. Return. It's weird that it's working. So it has to be this return statement here, but that's working just fine for me. Okay. So our only calling contains here right now. Sorry, no. It's taking me a while. It's gotta be something simple. Return, okay. Alright, looks like all the curly bracket stuff's fine. Invalid or unexpected. It's prototype of cell. Just wanna I'm wondering if it doesn't like. Because the only thing that could be invalid or unexpected is these variables. But it seems like they're all named correctly. Are we passing the wrong thing? Mouse X? Is that spelled incorrectly? No. Mouse X, mouse Y. Let's just try doing 5 and 5. Nope, still same problem. Huh. I'm lost here. X. It's working for you now. Did you change anything? I mean, that's great that it's working now. But I'm really curious what's going on here. I can't figure it out. Huh. Yeah, so I just copy pasted my code for this contains function and replaced it, and now it's working. That's so odd. Empty lines. Yeah, I'm not too sure. That was bizarre, but I'm glad it's figured out. So let's continue then. Zoom in here, and okay, so we were working on this show function. So yeah, let's make an if statement. So something should happen if it's revealed, right? So we'll just say if this dot revealed, revealed, and so the reason why we just have to say this dot revealed instead of this dot revealed equals true, and we could say that if we wanted to, but if it's if you just type this dot revealed, then it's gonna check whether it's true. If you put a not in front of here or a bang, whatever you call it, then it would be if this is not true. But this is just the same as saying this dot revealed is equal to true. So if this dot revealed, then let's show we'll do a gray rectangle right now. So fill 200, and then we want a rect, and it's going to be the same as this rectangle right here. So let's just copy paste it. Cool. And now it should work. Whenever we click any of these squares, we should get a square, or a gray square. And yep, so now we're getting gray squares on any of them that we click. So try that out. Let me know if that's working for you guys. I think let's go through this very slowly, so we can just avoid getting any bugs. If there is a bug, then we can easily find it. So let me know when you guys are when your gray squares are working. And all we did was add this right here. Super simple in our function show for our cell. If it's revealed, then fill a gray rectangle. And the rectangle is the exact same parameters as this rectangle we had before. So literally all we're doing is printing a gray rectangle on top. Cool, Eons works. And then cool, everyone's is working. So our that means our function press is working, right? Our mouse press. We're going through all the arrays and checking whether our mouse X and mouse Y. So if our mouse is in that specific cell, and if it is, then we reveal it once it's clicked, once it's pressed. And then so we say cell is revealed, and that just triggers this function. It says this dot revealed is true, so our revealed variable becomes true, and if it's true, then we put this gray rectangle. That's all we're doing. And okay, awesome. So now let's start actually creating mines. I guess let's start. Let's just start by saying this dot, and we'll call it a mine, equals. Let's start at true, just so we can get a visual. This dot mine equals true, and then in this reveal statement, we're gonna say if this dot revealed, and then we'll say if this dot mine. So if the mine is true, then we want to create a little mine. So I'll fill mine. or click cleaner number there. And then we'll use an ellipse to represent the mine. And this is also going to be kind of a long ellipse here. Hopefully it all fits within the screen. So we're going to say this dot x, and we have to do these addition things because, well, so this is kind of the reason why we have this dot w, because we have to do so much centering and whatnot. So we're going to say this dot x. The ellipse's center point is this dot x plus this dot w, and then half of it, so half the width, times 0.5, comma, same thing for y, this dot y plus this dot w times half, so 0.5. And then we'll make the width just this dot w times 0.5. And that should give us, that should do it. And so now they should, if we reveal, or wait, not yet, we got a few more things to do. But yeah, so all this is doing right here, and I'm going to copy paste this into the chat as well. This is kind of a long one. This is just giving us an ellipse that's centered in our cell. So it should appear like right in the middle. So we're saying if this dot revealed, then, and if we reveal it, then if the mine is true, print the mine, then we should put an else right here, right? Because we only want to print our gray square if there's no mine. Okay, so yeah, now we should be only getting mines. Because right here we said this mine is true, so mine will always be true, and obviously we're going to adjust that, but I just wanted to get a visual, make sure everything is working. So now we should only be getting mines. So let me know when you are at this point, when you're only getting mines when you click. And again, we just did this dot mine equals true, and then we said inside if this dot revealed, we did this. So we should have our if statement for a revealed should look like this now in our function show. So let me know when you have that. Cool, Noah's got it. Awesome. So all we have to do to randomize this is literally just use our random function. So we can just say in our function cell, if random 1 is less than 0.5, so half the time it's going to be true. And then else, and what do you think? What do you guys think I would put here in our else? If random 1 is less than 0.5, then this dot mine should equal true. Otherwise, what should we do here? So all this is doing, all we're trying to do right now is make mines not always be true. Because we don't want our whole screen to just be mines. So what should I type right here? If this dot mine is not true, what should it be? Exactly, should equal false. So we just type this dot mine equals false. And now look, we only get a few mines. And so what do you guys think I should do if I wanted there to be even less mines? Because this is quite a bit of mines, right? especially since we're kind of considering this an easy level. Look how many there are. Well, there's half, right? Because we say random 1. Less than 0.5. And that's half of 1. Exactly. If you want less mines, we can just do like 0.25. And now there's significantly less mines. Cool. I'm gonna stick with 0.25. I think 0.5 is a lot, and that'd be kind of, like I said, this is supposed to be an easy level. If we wanted more mines, we can make a more difficult level. So next step, let's we have to do our number part, right? Because all we have right now is empty squares, and so you're on the right track, Noah, but actually Minesweeper is randomly generated. Those mines are randomly generated every time, and the numbers, it's actually the other way around. The mines aren't working off of the numbers are working off the mines. So right, so because the numbers are being used to give you a hint as to where the mines are, so you have to make the mines first. Okay, so now we need some type of function that's gonna tell us how many mines there are in total, because we're randomly generating it every time, so it's not always gonna be the same. So let's just do a count function. So cell dot prototype dot count mines, and when it equals a function, then we don't need to pass anything because all of our data is within this cell. Then we'll say if there's a mine, so if this dot mine, then we want to return -1. So that's, and -1 is just going to say there's no mine. And then let's make a variable, and var total equals 0. And so okay. Sorry, I think I'm missing some code here. Let me just check my other game. Oh no. The game must have not saved. Sorry, guys. Let me just try to pull up. Sorry, everyone. I have a reference page that I use. And seems that it did not save. So I have to get the rest of my code. Just take a second. But yeah, so I definitely use this time to get caught up with me, and I'll highlight what I just added. This count mines right here is what we added, and also you can use this time to customize some things, and all your customization is going to happen in show right here. So if you want to use different colors, even different shapes, maybe you can customize the mine so it looks a little cooler, give it a little top with a, like a fuse. While I try to retrieve my code. Okay, so let's see what our next step should be. So let's finish up this count b's function. So okay, or count. So we have if the mine, then we will return -1. And let's okay, this is where things are gonna get a little bit tricky. And I should explain what we're trying to implement the numbers stuff, as Noah was saying now. And so to do this, our cells need to be checking all of the cells adjacent to them or to the sides of them. So like, let's say this cell right here should be checking, if it's an empty, should be checking all the cells around it, and this cell would be a 1, right, because it's only touching this one, but it needs to be checking this cell, everything that is touching. This top right cell right here needs to be checking these, and same here, right? That's what we want to be doing right now. And so let's define let's make some new variables. We're gonna make an I variable, which will come in handy in a minute, which I'll explain. And then let's make a j variable. Let's start j equals j, and we're gonna make and then okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, well, let's just keep these for now, and then we'll modify them once we start using them. So our count mines function, we're going to want to do. So we'll do if this dot mine, then instead of returning -1, well, we're just gonna want to return, because if there's a mine, then the game's over, right? So, and the way so we'll think of this as the base case. This is the base case. If when we call this function, the first thing it should check is whether there's a mine or not. And if there's a mine when you click it, then just return, because our game's over. And then actually, let's make a new variable right here that's just gonna actually hold the count of the neighboring cells. So we'll say this dot neighbor count, and to start, well, going to equal 0. And then in our base case, we also want to say this dot neighbor count equals -1. Okay, sorry. It would be nice if you could code sketches on mobile, but when I launch the code actually on iPad, it's super buggy. Oh, yeah, I haven't tried using a tablet, or I have never tried using the app on tablet or mobile, but yeah, I'll definitely let Suka and Alfie know that that's something that some of our students might be interested in. Thanks for that suggestion. But okay, so yeah, so we have our base case right here. If there's a mine, then our neighbor's count should be -1, and we're going to return our var total is equal to 0. And then let's say for var, and we're going to call this x off, and then so we're just going to do some typing here, and then we'll do the explanation like we usually do. Equals -1, x off is less than or equal to 1 x off plus plus. And I should mention, if you are unfamiliar with this, so we're defining, the reason why we say var here is because we're defining a variable. So that's why we can just call a variable's random name right here without having to define a global variable. But anyways, and it's also the reason why we can reuse variable names within for loops. So then we want to say var I equals this dot I plus x off, and this is all going to be a bit confusing until I explain it, but I think the best thing to do here is just get it all typed out. If I is less than 0, or so double pipe for or I is greater than or equal to columns, then we want to just continue. So continue will just go to the next iteration of our loop, and then we're going to say var neighbor equals grid I j, trying to go as fast as I can because we're running out of time and I want to be able to explain everything that's going on. So if neighbor dot mine, so if the neighbor has a mine, then total plus plus, we add to our total. And then at the very end, we want to set our neighbor count, so this dot neighbor count is going to equal the total, right? Because that was the whole point of this function. Cool. So yeah, let's go over this, but first looks like I'm getting I is not defined on line 11. Okay, so yeah, we're actually going to want to pass. We want to pass I to this function, to our cell function. Yeah, actually, we don't even need to be passing x or y. We can just make this dot xi. So let's pass, instead of x, comma y, we're going to pass I, comma j, and then we're just going to make our x and our y I times w, and then j times w. Cool, cool. And also, this is not going to be the approach. This randomizing right here. We'll create an actual function to make our minds more randomized and whatnot. Okay, let me check in with everyone. Make sure we're all on the same page. And just so this is not looking right now, but it's because we have a lot more to do. So the main thing though that we want right now is for this count minds function to be in order. So let me know when you guys have all this going on. When you're ready to move on. Oh, I completely forgot that. Let's copy paste this because we need it for y as well, right? So var y off, and I'll be the same. So all you gotta do is copy paste it and change it all to y. And these i's should be j's, right? I'm gonna need a curly bracket there. J's out of scope. I have there we go. Sorry, I have my all my scopes messed up here. This should stop. This should end here. Yeah, I just gotta fix these up. Cool. Think we're good now. This lines up this. This lines up this if statement. That's good. And that should go to that for loop. Awesome. That for loop. Okay, I think we're good. 3, 1 to 3. Cool. So yes, this is everything that we have for our count minds function. It's our biggest one yet. So I'm expecting some bugs to occur. And yeah, so let me know when you guys have this all typed out, and then we should go over what's happening here and why we even made this function. So as usual, just say ready when you're all done typing. Awesome, when I was ready, let me know when you're ready, y'all. Okay, and then actually real quickly, let's just delete this stuff right here and just have this dot might always be false. So all of our variables in our function cell should look like this now. We have a neighbor count at 0, a mine that's false, and reveal that's false. And then we should have I, this dot I equals I, this dot j equals j, this dot x equals I times w, this dot y equals j times w, and this dot w equals w. And then we're also now only passing I, j, and w. So, or I'll keep this up here. So the whole point of this neighbor count is to give us the proper number to display in a square. Right now we're not seeing our squares because we have some adjustments to make, but to our code. But so we'll just use, I'm just going to use this grid so you guys can visualize it. If this square cell right here only is only touching one mine, then our neighbor count should equal 1. So this neighbor count right here, all it is representing is the amount of mines that a cell is touching. And so this function that we created right here, count mines, is going to set our neighbor count equal to the amount of mines that it's touching. It's really as simple as that. It looks difficult because we have all these for loops and whatnot. But so our base case, if the mine is if there is a mine, then this dot neighbor count equals -1, and we return. There's nothing that we need to do because it's a mine. So there's no point in counting the mines that it's touching since it is a mine, and if you clicked it, your game's over anyways. So then we say, after our base case, our total is 0, and then we're just going to loop through our x, and then if our I is less than 0 or I is greater than or equal to the column, so if we hit the our diagonal piece, then we're going to just continue our loop, our iteration, and that's going sorry, let me try to explain this better. So we create a variable in our for loop called x off, and it's equal to -1, and our for loop only goes until x off is less than or equal to 1, and we add x off each iteration, and then we create a variable upon our first iteration called I, and we set it equal to this dot I plus x off. So on the first iteration it would be -1. So this dot I plus -1. And then and so this is the whole reason why we need to make these I and j, because we need to be able to know what index of our array we are at, and that's the whole point of this stuff. So, and then if our I is less than 0 or I is greater than or equal to columns, then we continue. And then we did the exact same thing for y. It's the same deal as columns versus rows. Oh, and this should probably be rows, right? I'm gonna make sure everything's low. So I just changed this. I still had this as columns, and that needed to be rows. Let me make sure I have everything. J, J, Y, 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 rows. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. And then, so then we create this variable called neighbor, and we're setting it equal to our grid. And then we say if the neighbor is a mine, then we add to our total. So, and then at the very end we just say we set our neighbor count equal to this total that we got from looping through all our cells. Yeah, I think, I don't know if I didn't explain that very well, but it's literally, our function is literally just counting the amount of mines that a cell is touching. Right? Okay, we have 10 minutes. I think we could. Let's work with our shell real quick, because that's just a few things that we need to add. So right now we have if it's revealed, and if it's a mine, then we show the mine with an ellipse. If it's otherwise just show a gray rectangle, right? But so now we need to use our neighbor count function. So if, and this should all be within whether it's revealed or not, right? Because we only want to show the numbers if it's clicked. So if this dot, or sorry, yeah, if this dot neighbor count is greater than, what do you guys think? What should I put? What should neighbor count be greater than if we want to display a number? Would we want to display a number if the neighbor count was 0? So basically, if there were no mines that were touching that cell, would we want to show it? Or would we want to show a number? Yeah, 0, right? Because we don't want to show 0. If it's 0, then it's just a gray square. Okay, open up the curly bracket, and then we're going to say, we're going to use text here, so we need to center it because it's going to be in the center of our square. So text line center, fill 0, text this dot neighbor count, which is just going to show us the number, and then so this is going to be like our ellipse up here. This dot x plus this dot w times 0.5 comma this dot y plus this dot w should be times, oh wait, text, so it's the top left. Well, let's just use this dot w for now and see where it shows up, and then we can adjust it accordingly. Okay, so let me copy. I'll throw this in the chat for you guys. So this is the if statement that we just added. Sorry. Let me know when you guys have that. Got it, cool. So we need to obviously we have some issues here, right, because we're only getting this one square. And sorry, I did see your question earlier, but we're going to answer that question now by going into function setup, and we have some work to do in here. We have 7 minutes. I think we can let's just rush through this, and then I think we can, next class we'll do all the explanations. So under this for loop, we're gonna say we need to, because we deleted that randomization stuff we had going up here, randomizing the mines. So now we need to make it down here. So we're gonna make a variable called options, and it's gonna be an array. And basically, it's going to pick the total mine spots. So how many mines there should be. So we're gonna do a for loop, and you might get some errors here because we're reusing I, but that's just a code naturally thing. That's the app. Don't worry about it. It's not a proper error. It'll still run. Our I equals 0. I is less than columns. I plus plus. And then we gotta do it again because we're working with 2D array here. Var j equals 0. J is less than rows. And then j plus plus. And then right here we want to say options dot push, and then we're gonna push I comma j. And see, so we have I is already defined, j is already defined, just like I said. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah, we'll eventually do that, no. Or we can. Yeah. I think we should. So okay, so now we need to say for var actually we need to make a new global variable. Actually, never mind, we're good. So for var n equals 0, n is less than total did we make a I don't think we have we made a global total yet? I don't believe so. So all we have to do right here is just say var total mines equals I'm gonna put 10 for now, and you guys can set it to whatever you want. So, and literally this is representing the total amount of mines. So, and sorry if I'm going fast here, we're just running out of time, and it's less than total mines and n plus plus. But yeah, so that total mines used to be represented by that 0.5 or the 0.25 randomization we were doing, but now we can just customize it every time just by adjusting this number. So in this for loop now we want to say var index equals floor, and like I said, we're gonna go over all this next class. But I just didn't want to leave you guys with a invisible grid. So then I'd said, so var index equals floor random options dot length, and then var choice equals options and the index, which we just created. Var I equals choice 0. Var j equals choice 1. Let's see. No, I'm not sure what that no is referring to. No. So, and then options dot splice index comma 1 grid I j dot mine. Sorry, I got an eyelash. True. So our mine should be set equal to true, and then we can close this for loop. and then new line, and then one more for loop. One, two, three. Yeah, one more for loop, and that should be the done. That should be our finished function set. So for var I equals 0. Actually, let's just copy paste this one up here for time's sake. So copy this, paste it right here, and then we're gonna say, instead of options.push, we're gonna say grid. Copy this. Oh. Grid. Then we want to count our bees, right? Grid I k dot count mines. And is that what we called it? Yeah, we call it count mines. Okay, our function setup should look like this now. And x off, line 28, getting an error. Oops, I had a 0 there. Y did a 0 there too for some reason. Okay, cool. So here's our function setup. Yeah, so we're at 401. Unfortunately, we didn't get our grid back, but that'll happen soon. And we have a lot to go over, so I'm just gonna put a little note here that we need to go over new code in setup. Need to go over new code in setup. Yeah, I don't have squares either right now. We got some more coding to do, but it's 401, so we have to call it now. I'm hoping you guys don't have any bugs right now. It also looks like we missed some people this class, or maybe they're just not chatting. Hopefully they watch this video and will catch themselves up, and we'll all be on the same page for our next class. So next class we need to obviously get our grid back, which will be no problem, and then we have to go over everything we just coded real quickly, and but we're super close to having this game finished. So yeah, that's exciting. Alright, so I will see you all next week. Thanks for coding with me today. I'm sorry things were a little bit frantic and I was a little bit late, but everything should be good next week. So I will see you guys. Thanks, bye.